Our question of the week: should we cancel our wedding to save money? My partner and I have been together 9 years. He honestly took forever to propose, and now that he has, I was so excited to plan our wedding. We're now 6 months out from the wedding, and I'm absolutely stressed and terrified about the cost. Yeah, I think we've all been there. I don't come from money, and neither does he. His parents offered us $1,000, and my parents have offered us nothing, so we would be paying for it ourselves. That happens a lot. Despite doing everything I can to have the wedding I want at the cheapest possible price, I no longer think we can do it without going into debt. You know, my reaction to that right out the gate is going to be no to that, but we'll see. Let's see now. Right now, my estimated all-in with tips and such, I'm glad you're planning for tips. That's good. It's one thing that a lot of people miss. My total estimate is just under $20,000. And in the world of weddings, that's so cheap. Well, it's relative, relatively cheap. We'll see what she's planning for. Don't want to judge too quickly. My biggest contributing cost is that my venue is at a bar with food beverage minimum of $9,000. That's pretty true for most any venue with food and beverage. And with rising food costs and inflation, I'm assuming I can't feed the 100 guests for that amount like I had planned. I can tell you that. I mean, it's not going to be much as far as food and beverage. Even just beverage alone for 100 people is going to be more than that, but we'll see. If we cancel now, I would receive my vendor deposit back in full. That's huge right there. None of our bridal party has purchased their outfits yet. Only one person has booked their flight so far. Like, if we cancel now, no one loses out financially except for that one person that's bought a flight. Maybe they get a voucher. My partner wanted to postpone a whole year, but the reality is our entire family group wants to get pregnant next year. Our entire friend group. Oh God, I thought it was gonna get kind of weird there. So our entire friend group is what I assume is supposed to be, wants to get pregnant next year. Literally everyone is waiting until our wedding. Pause. Family planning. Oh my gosh, the codependence. Is this like a post-pandemic thing where we're all planning I guess if you want your kids to all grow up together, but how big is this friend group? Is this like 2-3 couples, or, I got a lot more questions. Okay. Both of our parents are also not in good health, so I feel like there's a chance that they would no longer be around to see the wedding, even just a year out. That's something. We'd still get married. We'd just go to the courthouse and take the money we've saved so far and go on a trip together. Okay, but I really wanted the wedding. Understandable. I really wanted the wedding. Okay, they really want this wedding. But when they started planning it, I had a financial plan. Now I'm worried that layoffs could be coming to my big tech company. Very possible, especially right now. Look at all the different examples, which would be further jeopardizing their financial security. For sure. I don't know. Is this memory, party, enjoyment, excitement worth the debt, or is financial security a better foundation for the future and right idea? Well, it sounds like you may know the answer to that one right there. Do we only live once, or do we live a better life later because of today's decisions? That's very philosophical. This is taking a different turn. I'm so upset and conflicted. Any advice or thoughts would be lovely. Please don't be mean. I'm fragile today. Well, we're going to be as gentle as possible, but as practical and simple and straightforward. Now, this is, it starts out as a math problem, okay? You're looking at a $20,000 minimum wedding. Let's just add 10% just in case, and let's just round it up to $22,000 to $25,000 that you're gonna spend on this wedding. Now, do you need to turn around and you've saved that money and blow all of it on one giant honeymoon? You can do that. I'm not here to tell you how to spend your money. I'm just here to try to find the best ROI for your enjoyment, because if you're both very into travel, then you're going to be able to make different kinds of memories than you would on behalf of your entire family and friend group. So this is my philosophy on weddings. Weddings are 50% about you and 50% about everyone else in the room, because if you're pretending that it's really still all about you on your wedding day, then you're going to be sorely disappointed, because people come in with opinions and agendas, and it's impossible to make everyone happy, but it's very possible at a wedding to make everyone a little happy or fairly happy, but 100% it's just not going to happen. So all that to say, it sounds like this person is trying to make a lot of other people's schedules and agendas and needs fit within their own personal plan for getting married. And if they're okay with something maybe simpler, maybe something in between $0 and $20,000, and maybe instead of 100 guests, you can pare it down to your 20 closest friends and family, you do a smaller ceremony and you do a bigger party that maybe you're not providing food and drink for everyone, but it's more in a public forum, or you're able to get together around the holidays to really be able to celebrate your marriage together. I'm just spitballing here. I bet you can have a beautiful small ceremony for $5,000, somewhere between $0 and $5,000, rather than eloping. You can spend $5,000 on throwing a really great party for yourself to help those 100 guests celebrate you in the way that they want to, and then you can have $10,000 to start your life together, because things are expensive these days. We're talking about, houses, cars, your future. If you don't have an emergency plan set up in case you do get laid off, then that's where that money should be going in the short run, because that's the most important thing, is to take it through all those steps. Now, this is what I would call a big purchase: a wedding, a car, planning to have a kid. These are all big expenses, and that fits in right around step 3 of our plan and process. So if you don't have $1,000, or if you don't have your first month's worth of expenses saved up in an emergency fund, if you haven't chipped away at your high interest debt, then honestly, you've got no business spending $20,000 on sharing enjoyment with other people today. Now, do I think you could delay your wedding a year or two? Absolutely. If your parents' health are at such risk that you may not be able to have them see you get married if you delay it 12 months, then I don't think it's worth waiting to plan. I think your parents want to see you happy, and you want to share in their joy of watching you take this step. And so I'm thinking that smaller setting, that small plan, is going to be the best, best ROI for your enjoyment. And a lot of people think it's maybe crass to say, you should, limit your investment in order to get the best bang for your buck, and instead you should go all out because you only get to do this once. This is your big day. I agree. You should do what you want to do. And if you find that it's going to help you with your enjoyment of the overall experience, and if you find you're going to be disappointed, then maybe it is the right decision to spend the full amount and go all out. But if you're nervous about not being able to meet the minimums, and you're going to go in debt so that Uncle Greg can have another beer on you at your reception, that's not going to pay off for you when it comes to like a year, 2, 3 years down the road. Uncle Greg's not going to remember. You're not going to remember. Uncle Greg's definitely not going to remember. I'm going to be honest. There's going to be some people that you're going to be disappointed. But we had a big wedding. We had a large experience. I'm going to be honest. We had a lot of input from both sides of the family, both financially, sweat equity. There's that something borrowed, something blue, something new kind of thing that I'm sure you're very aware of. We had a lot of something borrowed. We had a lot of people, that donated decorations and material. We got married at a church that I was working at the time, so that was a big discount in the venue costs, things like that. But it was still expensive. It was an expensive experience, but it was not something that we accumulated any debt from, and we made sure to make decisions that were in the scope that was going to benefit the overall experience the most. Instead of going all out on the food and having a 5-course meal, we had Moe's cater our reception, and we could feed a lot more people, and we could get a much more exciting DJ and venue than just dumping it all into the food and beverage side. So what we did is we got a margarita machine, we got some beers, and we got some Moe's. That was the food, and it was a blast, and it was memorable. It was something special for us because, frankly, we love Moe's, and that's where that, you know, for those of you who don't know, it's like a, you know, like a Southwest style fast food chain, and so fast casual Tex-Mex burritos, and so, you know, having those burritos was something that was special because it was our thing. You know, it wasn't just doing it because everyone was having a fine dining sit down experience. You know, and I'll be honest, we had some family members that were upset that we didn't have white linen tables and seating for everyone. It was a more casual environment. Everyone was milling around. You could eat if you want. A lot of people were dancing and having a blast. And there's always going to be that person in the corner that says, well, if I don't have a place with a name card with my name on it, then I'm disappointed in my experience at your wedding. And so, you know, taking that into account, that, you know, you're going to have to find that sweet spot between going all out and trying to make everyone happy versus making sure that you meet the needs of the overall experience. And so what I would do is I would really look at the budget. I would look at every line and I would say, how much do we need to invest in this aspect, in this category, to make sure that everyone has a great experience, you know, and then start working your way down. And frankly, 100 people, it sounds like a big group, and maybe you want to trim it down a little bit, because with every person that you invite, that's added expense. And so those are just some things to consider. And if you'd like to go farther in depth with your wedding planning, I'm not a wedding planner, but I am a financial coach. And so if you'd like to kind of crack open the books, we can hop on a call for free for about 30 minutes, and I'd be happy to provide some input on that side as well. If this Q&A was interesting and beneficial to you, check out this one here where I unpacked another question from one of our viewers.